My name is Carolyn Tulipani. I'm 48 years old. I grew up in Marin County, and I live in San Francisco now. Everybody says when you come out that there's a good surprise and a bad surprise, and there are surprises. Somebody you anticipate is going to be negative about it ends up being positive, and then somebody you thought would be okay with it ends up being very not okay with it. As my friends would say, oh, well, it's nice that you finally figured it out, because we knew. And I said, well, thanks for the heads up there, guys. A lot of people think that all of a sudden, when you come out, you have this singular epiphany that happens at one moment in time, and you just go, oh my God, I'm gay. And in actuality, it doesn't work like that. There's a difference that you feel, because all of a sudden you have gone from one day being in the majority to being in the minority. The transition has been difficult at times. Not so much being gay, it's just the changes that have occurred since then. If I had the option, if magically, poof, I could be heterosexual, would I be? I have to say no, because that's not who I am. This is part of who I am, and so in order to be true to who I am and what I am, I have to say no. It's just a kind of a reality. With older people, I'd say that there's more apprehension, and it's more like they think you made a lifestyle choice, when in fact that is that is not the truth, and science backs that up. A lot of people, you just have to let them ask questions, or if they need to, because it ends up being this big elephant in the room if you don't. I think you have to be open and understanding that there's questions people are going to ask, and I don't have a problem with that. What would I like people to know about being gay? Not all the men are good decorators and flower arrangers. Not all the women wear flannel, drive Subaru Outbacks, although I would like one of those. In a relationship, never ask who's the wife and who's the husband, because that's not necessarily the case. We do not have recruiting centers anywhere. So this gay agenda, we're a little too busy in our lives to be worrying about the gay agenda and turning anybody. It's not contagious. Lesbians don't hate men. Some of them do, but I don't usually deal with those people. I like men very much, I just don't want to sleep with them. And I'd say that pretty much we're just like everybody else.
Brooksbridge, Mill Valley. Well, I currently don't feel any pressures. And a lot of that, I think, is where I'm at in life at this point. Well, I did have some obstacles when I was growing up at different times of my life, but that was more from the way people reacted towards me. My parents' reaction at the time in my life that I decided, if you're using the term homosexual, of just sleeping with the same sex, I had gone through a phase in my life that I first slept with women and was very happy sleeping with women for many years, and then I went into a phase of sleeping with both men and women. And so it was kind of a natural progression, and so at the point in my life, I was in my mid-20s when I made the decision within myself that I was just going to sleep with men. But you need to understand, in my lifetime, I'm 51, that it wasn't until 1974 that to say publicly that you are a homosexual or lesbian, it was against the law in the United States. For generations, my family always protected our family members that did choose to be out. And so it was always fine in our family homes to be out and with your partner. But they had to always live more or less somewhat of a closet lifestyle because of what the laws were in the United States. In terms of out to general public, that type of thing, it was not a possibility. My realization within myself of what I was more attracted to physically, and that is to men, was when I was about halfway through undergraduate school. So I was 19, 20 years old, and At that time, when I did start dating men, I didn't hide it, but at the same time, too, I dated men and women because I liked sex with both of them. And at that point in history, which was the early 80s and late 70s, it actually was a very awakening in America. So it wasn't actually a stigma to be experimental, and a lot of people were being experimental in college. So that was very easy for me, and by the time I was comfortable with myself of making the decision of just having relationships with men exclusively, I was about 27, and I was coming off an engagement with a woman that I loved very much, and we mutually agreed that we would not get married together, and it was not due to my sexual preferences or her sexual preferences. It was due to the choices we were wanting to make in life that were the bigger picture of how you wanted to live, where you wanted to live, that type of thing. So at the time when I was experimenting and coming out was in Durham, North Carolina, and it was from a period of, I was about, like I said, 19 or 20, and by the time I was just dating men and comfortable with just dating men, by choice it was about 27, and at that point I was living in New York City, in Manhattan, and was traveling a lot out to Los Angeles, and was over in Europe a lot with work. At that point in my life, I was very involved in the entertainment industry, so a lot of my jobs were in a lot of different locations.